All right, so we're getting toward the end here, finally. This is the part that I always enjoy doing. You have an idea of what it's going to look like, but until you get the oil on there, you're really not sure. This is butcher block oil. This is a hardening oil. And I mentioned in one of my other videos about this board of why I was using a hardening oil on this. This is an end grain, meaning it's the end of the boards on this cutting board. And if you can see inside these, I don't know if you can see this. All these grains are like little tiny straws. They actually feed the water up and down the tree, nutrients and everything when the tree's live. And those straws stay open. You can actually set this in oil and it'll pull it right up through, the oil up through. And when you have an oil like a mineral oil, which a lot of people do their boards with, it can actually seep out, you know, months after you put it on there. And it's harmless, but it's still, you got oil going in and out. Well, if you got oil coming out, you can also let stuff go in, you know, bacteria or whatever. So I like, for the end grain, this is a hardening oil. I like to, it seals up those pores a lot better. I like to put this on first to seal up the pores. Doesn't take much to put it on, just rub it in. Usually do a couple coats, depending on what it looks like. You can, and I do use a wax on top of this after this is dried. It says 72 hours before you do anything to it. I will probably put another coat of oil on this again tonight, later on, because this will soak in. It'll harden up. I'll probably give it one more oil and then buff it off. And then probably in a couple days I will give it a nice coat of beeswax. And that just helps protect it, and it gives it a little better, I think it makes it, has a little better sheen to it. Because this dries kind of flat. It's not really shiny. And this is food safe. This is what you would, the butcher block oil, this is what normally people would use on when they're turning bowls and stuff that you're planning on using regularly. This is what they use for a finish on it. So it's very food safe and very common finish. I didn't do any finger grooves or anything in the side of this board for picking it up, because I did put it on a 30-degree bevel on the bottom. And it's also going to get some rubber. I like to put rubber feet on my boards. It just it keeps them from sliding around. It keeps them from, if these set on like your counter or whatever and they don't have feet on them, if there's any moisture or anything on your counter or any liquid, it'll suck it right in, and it'll warp up the board. These boards, they can be cleaned, hand washed and dried. You put these in I don't care who makes them, you put these in the dishwasher and they're going to come out in pieces. They don't like hot, steamy water, and they don't like to be soaked. I use a waterproof glue. Everybody uses a waterproof glue on them, but they do not, they will not hold up to a dishwasher. So that's pretty much the first coat. Got everything. Like I said, this will soak in a little bit. It's already, you can already see wet and dry spots where it's soaked into the wood. The walnut, the dark colored wood, is really pulling it in. It has a lot bigger tubes or straws or whatever you want to call them, tubules. It pulls in a lot more. It's the only wood that I know of that pulls in more oil is oak. Is terrible. Oak, you'll just keep adding it to oak and adding it and adding it and adding it, and it just keeps sucking it in until it takes forever to fill it up. That's why I don't think oak is it's not really a great cutting board wood for end grain. I don't feel like you ever really get it filled up. It's pretty wet right now, but already starting. You can already start to see in the darker wood, the cherry and walnut, you can already start to see it drying up. So it'll definitely need a second coat. That's about it. I'll have a little video at the very end showing the feet and stuff on it, and that'll be it. That board will be done.